In March of 1965, David Hall volunteered to take on a brave responsibility and allow hundreds of civil rights marchers to make their first stop at his farm to rest overnight.
Dr. King explained to him that you might have some problems here, and I want you to know you're asking for trouble. Dad say, I fear no man but the Lord.
Susie Hall Stover, the third of 8 children of David and Cheney Hall, says she remembers it all when her dad says he overheard Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. saying they needed a rest stop for the marchers and volunteered his farm.
He went and told them, well, I have some property and you can stay on my property. That's the kind of person Dad was.
Hall Stover, who was living in Birmingham at the time, says her brothers and sisters feared what would happen to their dad, but were advised to stay away from the farm.
We knew about the Ku Klux Klan. We lived here. We lived in the South, in Selma all our lives. He said that if they kill me, okay, but I can't let them do nothing to my children.
And it was here where the foot soldiers began their march from Selma to Montgomery. They would walk about 10 miles before reaching their first campsite, the David Hall farm. Over 300 marchers arrived at the farm the night of March 21st, 1965. They would rest, and as many know, would continue marching throughout the next couple days until reaching the Capitol steps in Montgomery. But for Hall and his farm, the backlash had just begun.
He did pay a price because he couldn't do anything. He couldn't go and get nothing. Everything was froze. Banks wouldn't let him have no funds or nothing. So he had to give up the farm.
Hall Stover says despite all of the aftermath her dad saw, he always told her he knew he did what was right.
So he knew that it comes a time that you need to stand up for the right thing. My dad used to tell us, you don't scratch if you don't itch, and you don't laugh if you're not tickled. So you stand up for the right thing, and you do the right thing, and you help somebody along the way.
Such a powerful quote right there. And David Hall passed away in 1972, but his family says they're working hard to continue his legacy and bring light to this forgotten part of Black history. So very grateful that I got to do that story.
Yes, and when you live in an area where all the action happened back then, you get so many perspectives that you never considered, just like hers. Very interesting. Thank you very much, Kay. The Selma-to-Montgomery March lasted 4 days in March 1965. By the time the marchers reached the capital city, there were tens of thousands of people downtown.